across to the water. Just spin it around. That's it. Yep, I don't believe it. I absolutely do not believe it. G'day, this week's adventure. Well, I left Manning River camp and drove up to Glen Innes. Now that road going up is a whole series of devil's elbows, and it really put a strain on the Ranger. In fact, if I didn't have that special radiator in there, I would have been in a bit of trouble. Anywho, got to Glen Innes, it's great. While I was there, I checked out the Australian stones. Now it's a little bit like Stonehenge, but man-made and very effective. I really enjoyed that. From there, I went out of town and camped at a sapphire mine. That was pretty exciting. Did some fossicking there, then come back into town, into Glen Innes, and did some more fossicking. Did I find any sapphires? You'll have to watch and see. Then from there I went to Tfield. Tfield was a place I had been wanting to go for quite a long time. Now when I got there, set myself up, went into the Tfield School of Arts and got a private viewing of the actual room where Sir Henry Parkes made his speech in 1889. That was quite exciting. So his speech was all about trying to convince the Australian authorities to change over from a whole series of colonies into a single federation. And in 1901, he got his wish. From there, I drove out of Tfield and went to a rock called Bal Rock, and that was a massively steep rock. And that was about my adventures. So come along for the trip. Let's go. The wind's dropped, so you'll probably see me doing lots of this. I've had to spray a lot of DEET all over my face, which I'm not overly keen on. Now I've just come from Die Hard, so that was the hardest work this range has ever done. Pulling up that hill was only 12 kilometres, but that was really steep, and you couldn't, because there's lots of devil's elbows, and I'll show you on the map what it looks like. Because there's a lot of that, then basically what you're doing is you're not actually getting up the speed, so you're going up the hill, but you're coming into a really tight corner, so you can't get any momentum. So if you decide to go to down to Man River, which is a campground from up in Glen Innes, just keep that in mind, because it's all very well going down. Obviously you've got to come back up. So I'm standing quite near the Australian standing stones. They were put here in 1992, and there's 38 in all, 38 in total, and they're basically put here as an appreciation for the Celtics who came and contributed to the Australian way of life. So in the Celtic tradition, there is lots of countries. It's not just Wales, Scotland, Ireland, there's a whole heap of them. And the list is over there if you want to see which ones are involved, but there is quite a lot. Really quite an amazing place to be in. Even though it's man-made, there's a certain feeling. I wouldn't say it's spiritual, but there's a certain feeling as you walk around the stones. And in keeping with that whole tradition, here it is, the Excalibur sword, or something reasonably similar. And it says here, if you can pull it out of the rock, then you gain intense knowledge and you're quite the hero, and so on and so forth. But in all fairness, it is in solid concrete, so I won't try. Wouldn't want to hurt myself in the effort. Still quite impressive though. Good fun thing especially for the kids to come and have a go. Excalibur. Top of the morning to you. I'm at a place called Fossicking Caravan Park. Now they've got a little package where you can, if you've got no gear, then they'll supply all the gear. They've also got a little video you can watch on how to fossick for gems. And with their package they give you a bag like this, which was previously full, and that's got all the goodies, a mix of goodies. They give you a couple of these. Now these sieves are peculiar for checking out gems. And they've just got two different meshes. One's quite wide and the other one's a bit thinner. So I got those two. That they give you a little pair of pliers, pair of tweezers, and a little plastic bag, and if you fill up obviously you can go back and get another one. Now here's a couple of gems I got from yesterday. Probably won't look too exciting, sort of looks like that. But today I'm going to hopefully jag the elusive sapphire, so we'll see how we go. This is basically the bag they give you. You empty a little bit of that into your top sieve, which is the widest one. You better hope something like that is full-on sapphire, but somewhat unlikely. And don't put too much into your little sieve because it'll be too heavy to work into the water. Kind of defeat the purpose a bit. I've done that. That's what that looks like. And you've got two sieves. You've got the big fat one and a little skinny one. You then take the top one across to the water, and here you give it a good rinse. What you're doing is rinsing and turning the sieve around. Come over to this. There's no real art to it, but obviously it's like flipping a pancake. Better make certain you don't throw it all out. Just spin it around. That's it. And you pop this out the road. Basically what you're looking for in here is a couple of giant sapphires. In fact, I may have just seen one. Tweezers ready, and specimen bag ready to fill up. One of the ways you can tell is it's got a real reflection off it, so it's not just a flat, wet stone. Wouldn't it be awful if you actually didn't realise, but you found one and you were throwing it out? No, it might be a rock. It's not a rock stone. Apparently these bigger ones are handy to have if you're going to polish, get the stones polished, so you can just throw that in, and what that does when it's spinning around, it smooths out itself, and it does a nice job of helping your other little gems get all cleaned up. And I think the only real way to do is take what you think is sort of fair and reasonable, then take it to a shop to have it cleaned or polished, and you might say, oh, mate, that's just half a dozen rocks. So I'm going to just dump this in the wheelbarrow, finished with. And this next section is just to repeat what I've already done, but this is with the finer gravel. Give it a rinse. Yep, I don't believe it. I absolutely do not believe it. You know, funny, we go to so much trouble just to find these little tiny splinters of a stone, only knowing that they've got some value, intrinsic value. But if they were just a rock, you probably wouldn't care too much. I'm not sure how well I can show you or how much it'll show out. But in there's some zirconia, maybe a ruby or two, maybe a sapphire or two, some various other gemstones. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to throw this in the rubbish bin, and that's my gem collecting in this particular place, which is called Fossicking Caravan Park. I'm out of town. I'm not that far from a place called Dundee, but yeah, great place. I'm staying at tonight. Reasonable rates. So I'm next to a creek and next to a bigger creek / river where there's an old sapphire mine. So I'll go and check that out, and I'll also go and have a little bit of a fossick just down by the creek. Good idea to have a 4-wheel drive, not an all-wheel drive. A 4-wheel drive with the usual, 2-inch and or more, and all the gear on it. So yeah, you get out here fine. And my van's a bit too big to where I wanted to put it. I wanted to put it down by the old sapphire mine, but Mel, the owner, seems to think it's just a bit too big and no point going looking for trouble. Plus I'm only here for one night, so I'm going to give you a real rush around the place to give you a bit of a flavour. So let's go. I'm back to the fly swatting. Now, I've been wanting to show you this for ages. This place, even though Mel says it's not too bad, not much of a problem with snakes, I don't really want to take a chance. It gives me the feeling that it's very hot, very dry. Black snakes, usually quite shy and they'll get out of your road. Brown snakes, if you're in their territory, they can be a bit aggressive. I don't want any snakes. So I invested in this the other day. And I haven't had a chance to show you, but I thought you might appreciate it. They're basically protectors, snake protectors. Now I've got to be fair about this. These cost $40 from a disposal store, so you should be able to get at most of the disposal stores. The brand itself is, I don't know, Rum Jungle. Doesn't sound too good. Now the thing is, you can get cheaper ones. I think even Anaconda have got the cheap ones, but you want them so that if they try and puncture through that, it's going to take a bit. Look, yeah, they'll probably get through that. They'll probably get through anything if they really tried hard, but let's not be too pessimistic about it. So I've got the gumboots on, which I call my slippers, just on the off chance, and I'm going to throw these on. You've got Velcro and they've got zips and got a little thing down the bottom that ties at the bottom, ties at the top. Now here's a little fact for you. Of all the trouble I'm going to, I've got to say I'm doing it mostly just to show you, just to, if you're a little bit cautious. There it is. That's what it looks like. So it covers right up to the knee. Now most snake bites are usually around about the ankle or from the arm up to the elbow. So they're the two vulnerable places that snakes might bite you. Looks like that leg's pretty well covered now. And I'm going to try it out to see how functional it is. Already it feels a bit annoying, but yeah, that's okay. Righto, so the gathering goes down the bottom. Now it's also important to know what other things I've taken out with me. So before I even get any of my Fossicking gear, I've got my little day pack. In there I've got my little charger to charge the phone in case the phone goes flat. That's the little cable that goes between that charger and the phone. I've already checked the phone. The phone's got 41%. It's not brilliant, but it's not too bad. And also got a little snake bite kit. And I've also got a compression bandage. Bottle of water. And the glove, remember I said that they're more likely to get on the hand up to the... It's only because you're putting your hand down, they will bite. So if you really wanted to, you could put a glove on, especially if you're digging like I might be. But again, if you really want to go OTT, you probably should have a welding glove on. And then you'd probably be 95% safe. Okay, let's go. I'm out skirting around on this property where I'm allegedly doing some sapphire fossicking. And for the real beginners, four-wheel driving, it's not a bad idea to just be aware of this. You see where my hands are on the steering wheel? Make certain your thumbs are not inside that the loop. Because what can happen is the bar here can flick around and bust your thumb, and bust two in the one go. So have your grasping the steering wheel like that, but your thumb should be parallel to the ground. So if it does get caught, it's just that there's no thumb caught in that bar. This is a bit of a test of this four-wheel driving. I'm headed now at the moment for the mine, the sapphire mine, so that should be fun. I've just been down to the river. Beautiful. The water's a bit of a strange colour, that green colour, so I'm not sure whether that's good for the fish. I definitely think it's not good for swimming, especially if you get it in your ears. You could end up with an earache. In 1889, actually 24th of October 1889, and it's the 22nd of October 2023 now, Sir Henry Parkes made a speech here to an elite group of people, and he was discussing the entire concept of federation. And in 1901, that whole argument, and that was all the impetus. In 1901, Australia became a federation. Up on the walls you can see the original flags. They were all pertaining to each of the states that they were, South Australia, West Australia, and so on and so forth. Some of those were a bit provocative, and you can see the alienation that was given at that time to the Aboriginals. A big branch just landed on the ground, just missed the camera. Not relevant. Sir Henry Parkes, apart from being famous for his speech in Tfield all about Federation, he was also instrumental for following a lot of the systems and systems in place that Florence Nightingale had wanted to introduce. And this is a classic example of it. It's the isolation unit here in Tfield, and he had it designed exactly how Florence Nightingale would have suggested to have it done. He also was responsible for introducing free education within Australia. So things like that. He was quite the man. I'm standing out the front of Tfield Satellite. Now this is a place that was made famous by Peter Allen. Peter Allen used to live here, I believe. I hope I'm right. And yeah, so Peter Allen, when my baby goes to Rio, I go to Rio de Janeiro, that one. And yeah, it's definitely worth coming and checking out. And now this sort of a building and the artifacts inside it are not going to be here forever. So if you get a chance and you're in the area, please call in. It's a gold coin donation, which is a bit underpriced, and there's a couple of things in there that are probably not too bad to buy as a little kind of keepsake. They've got tea towels, they've got belts, they've got belt holder, just to name a few. And it's run by volunteers. Now the volunteers are a bit thin on the ground in Tfield, so again, get here and try and find out the hours it's open and check it out. It's definitely well worth looking at. Check those out. They're called tank traps, man-made. Now in 1943, this road here, the main road, was the only all-weather road that could be driven from Sydney to Brisbane. And the government was fearful that Japan was going to invade, so they wanted to do some preparations to make it very difficult to get down this way. So what they did was they made up these tank traps. Basically what would happen is they'd force it so that the tanks had no other choice but to go in this way, and as they went on to the tank traps, literally the tanks would get stuck, and our guys could defend it, and the tanks then would be in all sorts of trouble and they'd run away, hopefully. And if you really want to get adventurous, I don't have my snake protection gear on me today, it's probably fine. That 1.3 kilometres in there is Thunderbolt's hideout, and you can walk in there and check it out. But as I say, yeah, I'm afraid you're going to have to miss out on that and do that one yourself. Thunderbolt was a notorious bushranger, by the way. I'm at Bal Rock. Now there's two ways of doing the climb. You can go around it, which is about 5.7 kilometres, or you can go straight up the guts, which is about 2.4 kilometres. Now I won't be doing the whole thing, but I'll give you a little bit of a flavour of it. I'm not sure if you can tell how steep it is, but I'll just walk up a little bit. You'll hopefully get the idea. It's pretty steep, and as I said, I won't be going all the way, but hopefully I'll give you some idea what it's like. Oh well, that'll about do me. Whew. So you can see it's pretty steep. That's not too bad. So make certain your pacemaker is turned up and you're close to one of these AEB things that, you know, clear, get the heart started again. And walking back down thinking, oh well, I won't be working as hard, but you'll be working different muscles, especially your back of your thighs and your important muscles there, your gluteus maximus. Okay, I walked a little bit further than I had anticipated, so I believe I'm on the saddle. I can see the summit. I question myself, do I need to prove anything? Is it going to be that much better? Probably is. I can tell you, it's not the day for a kilt, that's for sure. and that was the week that was. Now, hopefully you enjoyed some of the history that I talked about. It was quite exciting for me, certainly. And that walk up the hill, if you're going to do that walk up the rock, make certain you have someone with you, and make certain you're really, really fit and you've got plenty of water when you're going up there. Now, if you found the video useful, helpful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, that would be good one day. And if you think the video is worth sharing, I really would appreciate it. Till next time, this is Paul Wheel Drive, signing off.